This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. I'm joined by Jazza Dickens over Zoom. Jazza, firstly, how are you?
I'm good, Andy. Very, very good. Training's going well. Never better.
I'm glad.
Yourself?
I'm all good, thank you. I'm all good. Before we come on to what's ahead for you this year, let's just go back to last year. That defeat, firstly, with Kid Galahad. Reflect on the fight for me, Jazza.
Yeah, it was a tough fight. It was a good fight. I think it always will be. With Galahad, we fought twice now. Both fights have been tough fights. Potentially the toughest fight in my career. So yeah, it always is a tough fight, and it always will be a tough fight if we fight again. But yeah, it was a good year leading up to it. Good maybe 2 or 3 years. We won everything. We had great momentum, great form going in there, and I would like to stay on that form. Although we had the loss and we lost with the world title, but I would like to stay on that form and keep on striving towards the world title. That's the plan.
How had you imagined that fight playing out beforehand, Jazza?
I was just I was like possessed in a way that I'd won it already. It's confusing that I haven't. I'm not world champion. That's how I feel now, because I was so I just believe so much that I still do believe I will be world champion, but I already believe by now I'll be world champion, So the show still goes on. If I won a world title fight, I'd be defending it, or I'd be trying to unify, but no, still in the same position now where I'm trying to be world champion,
Were you planning on sticking to featherweight, Jazza?
Yeah, featherweight's no problem for me. I'm strong at the weight. I said on another interview about, probably know that you should be fighting at the weight when you fight for the IBF title. I'm ranked in the IBF rankings, so I can fight for the IBF title with that being the £10 limit the day after the weigh-in. So I I'd still fight for the IBF. So therefore, that means to me I'm still fighting at the weight.
I mean, Jazza, when you look at kind of the year ahead, then what discussions have you had with your team as to how you want this year to play out?
Yeah, well, there's two Brits fighting. Well, there's three people. There's one from Ireland, and there's just two Englishmen who fight for world titles. So the plan is to get one of them. It'd be nice if they either unify or fight against each other somewhere along the line. It'd be good to fight one of these British fighters. Even Kiko Martinez was supposed to fight Kiko a few years ago for the European title. It'd be good to come back to that fight. But anyone who's got a world title, really, that's the plan. Not so much I want my mindset on somebody, more the world titles.
So before we do touch on those fights, Jazza, whilst all those guys have fights lined up and there is that potential for them to make a unification beyond that, for yourself, I imagine, would it just be a matter of just staying busy on a smaller hall show, or is there anybody else in particular you want to share the ring with?
Yeah, no, there's big news. I've got big news planned. I'm not going to announce just yet, but I've got big news plans, and the plan is for me to be fighting someone just below world level to stay busy myself rather than wait for the world title opportunity. Keep improving, keep getting better, and by the time the world title comes, then we're in a better position. Get to know my new coach. You've just training in Ireland now with Peter Taylor, so you get a fight in there with Peter. Although it's not just a fight, it's going to be at a good level, and it will just be above European level. So it'll be someone in the top 10, maybe get a ranking fight, and then really look for that world title.
I was just trying to think of potential names before we started this interview, and would say, Jordan Gill's facing Griffey for the European title. Would that be of any interest to you? Would somebody like that be interest to you?
I'm above those lads. They're coming up, aren't they? The European level. They're coming up to the European level. I've got a lot more experience than them lads, but you never say never. They're coming up. I don't hold the belt as it is right now, so if it makes sense, But right now, I'm not looking at those guys.
You mentioned obviously training now with Peter Taylor. Talk to me about that move and what prompted it.
Yeah, the technical coaching, what Peter works on, the drills, just the way he teaches his fighters to box. I had a lot of success coming through the ranks as a kid. training with Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith was very, very similar to Peter Taylor, but Peter Taylor is a professional coach doing it in a professional rank. So just that style of boxing, I love it. I enjoy it. I learned to box that way, and it's sort of come full circle for me to now be boxing that way and to be practicing these things daily. I'm getting better as a fighter. I feel myself getting better every single day in the gym now. I'm a better fighter now than I was fighting for a world title, which is mad. Just in different areas, you know. Technically, I'm getting better. It's nice. It's nice to be getting better at this level. You never know it all, do you? So it's nice for me to be getting better now and leveling up, even as I'm more than 10 years into a professional career. So it's exciting for me to go to the gym now. It's good to be excited, you know.
Is there anything in particular you feel you've been improving on whilst working with Peter?
Just all around the mechanics of boxing. We're back to like working on a jab, and I enjoy it. I enjoy that type of stuff. But going back to working, you feel like you're one of the best fighters in the world, but you're working on just your jab, and that's what type of coach he is. So it's good not to skip over the fundamentals. I've sort of took everything back and had to learn to box again. Everything's been stripped down, and yeah, I'm learning to box again. But it's I'm looking forward to fighting and showing people what I have been working on. I'm definitely a better fighter now than I ever have been since I've been professional.
Jazza, you mentioned earlier, there's some world title fights on the horizon you'll be keeping a close eye on. Start off with past opponent of yours and somebody who overcame Leigh Wood, who faces Michael Conlan. What do you make of that fight?
Yeah, I think it's a good fight. The both lads are up, so it's good fight. Both lads are up for it. It's one of them where I'm leaning towards Conlan one day, and now it's Leigh Wood and then it's Conlan. But I think that Leigh Wood needs to keep his composure. I think Conlan's getting under the skin already, and it was good to see the lads sticking together. I enjoyed watching them sticking together, giving us a Ben, wasn't he? And I think that the idea behind that is what they're doing is Ben's the mind behind it, isn't he? He controls the camp, and as a fighter, I think it's important for you to keep your own mind and your own ideas. But I think some fighters can depend far too much, and I can see why Leigh Wood does that, because he got great success after he fought and he went to Ben. He got great success, and I think Ben helped him a lot, not just only with his boxing ability, but with his confidence too. So he's I think that he's the pilot, so to speak. So I think they're trying to go through Ben to upset Leigh, you know what I mean? Overlook Leigh, and if they can rile Ben up, then they've got Leigh. So it's interesting, isn't it, to see the mind behind the boxing. I know people are probably just watching going, what's going on here? Why are these shouting at the coach and they're fighting him and stuff like that? But there's a lot goes into it behind the scenes. But in terms of physical, when you fight, I think Leigh has got more experience. He is the world champion, so he should be beating Conlan, because Conlan is he's stepping up now to Leigh's level. So he should be beating him. I'm not saying that Conlan can't win. I'm not saying there's up one to him, but what I'm saying is that I would definitely say that Leigh, being the champion, should maintain his champion status, with Conlan having to be to his level now. But we could see that it's Conlan's breakthrough fight, so yeah, anything can happen.
Jazza, as a past opponent of Leigh's and somebody who's not just shared a ring with him, but felt his power, it's been something which has been spoken about for a while now. Do you see what Ben Davison says, what Dave Caldwell says about Leigh possessing a lot of power?
It's bullshit, and it's bollocks. It's bollocks. It's like people get. I also seen Michael talking about his power in an interview, and he's never even hit him. He's never took a punch off him. How does he know? I've felt his power. Maybe I do have a theory on fighters feeling power different. So some fighters have a cutting shot, and some have a sharp punch, and fighters feel these punches differently. I don't know. That's what I really believe. But when I was in there with him, I didn't feel his power. Maybe he was not strong at the weight. I don't know. But definitely not. I had inmates. I was the one who had inmates, and people don't talk about my power like that. So if you talk about his power, maybe his chin's lacking, because when I fought him, people don't talk about my power, but I was stronger than him. So if he is supposed to be stronger than me, then maybe his chin's weaker than mine. I don't know, but I don't see it. I see him knocking fighters out, and I just strongly believe it's through confidence. I don't know. Confidence. I think confidence is a big part of power. I do believe that. But I can see why you would say he can punch, but I wouldn't. Not the way to talk about him like he's George Foreman. No, no way.
Jazza, with all of this in mind, you've mentioned your desires to get back onto that world scene. Do you think your best potential opportunity would be if Leigh was to overcome Michael, because Leigh could still look at you and think, oh, in his case, he'd want to right that wrong on his record?
Leigh could right that wrong if he wanted to. Watch every single interview that Leigh does. He would not mention me. We talk about his fights before me, and we talk about his fights after me. He does not mention my name. My name doesn't come up from him or his team. It does not come up, and you won't see it come up because he's in the driving seat now, isn't he? So I could be fighting him. If that was the case, but no, he doesn't want to fight me. I'd probably be better getting the all Ireland fight in Ireland if Conlan won the fight.
Away from that, the other one being Warrington Martinez 2, or Martinez Warrington 2 now. Again, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, the mindset of both fighters will have shifted since the first time we fought. Definitely, I think that Josh Warrington was in probably just brimming with confidence last time we fought, and this time Martinez will be brimming with confidence. I don't know how Warrington has managed his mental state, but he can't be in the best form of confidence. I don't know if he is. I can't see how. I hope he is, but he's vacated the world title. He's been knocked out, and then he hasn't had a win for a good few years now. So it's like maybe the fact that he knows that he's already beat Kiko before, maybe he thinks I've got his number. But I just hope he goes back to his original fighting style, the way he was when he was coming through. He's not a boxer. He's not a fancy boxer. Not slagging him here, but his strengths are being the brawler. So I hope he can go back to that. I believe he'll win the fight if he says, no, what, fuck the bollocks, just fuck all the bollocks, I'm just going to go through him. I hope he takes that approach and he wins back his world title.
With that one itself, Kiko overcoming Kid Galahad last time out, what did you make of that stunning knockout?
Well, that's all I've seen of it. All I've seen was a knockout. And it was a shock. I didn't think that it was impossible, but when I heard he knocked him out, wow, bloody hell, I didn't expect that. I asked people how was it going, and people said to me, no, what, I went to bed. I thought Galahad hasn't won the fight. He was winning that easy. So I know he's won this fight, and people said he went to bed, and then found out the next day that he got knocked out. So it was definitely a big upset. But you've got to take your ass off to Kiko Martinez, because he must have some drive, and he must work so hard, because he's done it all before, and to want to come back and do it again, it's hard to go down and then to build back up again. That's the hard part of boxing. Not when you're high in confidence, when you're low and you've got to build back up, and people believe, like, they lose belief. And you can imagine that's happened with Kiko, can't you? People have said, come on, lad, you've won the world titles now. You've done it all. What are you still fighting on for? Do you know what I mean? You've got nothing to prove, but are you going to be as good as you was? And now he's world champion. So, it takes me out of too. Good for him.
Right, Jazza, just before I let you go, I'm going to leave a final word to yourself. Obviously, everyone who's going to tune in, continue to support and follow you this year. What would you like to say to those?
Yeah, no, just thank you for everyone. Like I say there about the support, where when you're down and you come and you're going to make your comeback, and you're going to you're on the back of a loss. I'm very, very lucky. I've never had more support than I ever have on the back of my last loss. So I'm grateful for all the team Jazza who support me, and all my team, MTK Global, my manager Tony Bellew. Also, big thank you to Georgie and Terry, who've brought me to this point now, and I look forward to the journey over in Ireland with Peter. So thank you to all my family and friends, and thank you to yourself and the people like you, Andi, who allow me to have this platform to do what I love to do.
No, Jazza, listen, it's always great to catch up, and I always appreciate the time that you give. But I will leave you now to enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for speaking to me on Boxing Social.
Thank you, my mate. See you soon.